As coders, our job involves focus, creativity, and problem solving. And good habits can help you work more efficiently and effectively towards solving those problems. In this video, I'm going to be talking about habits that I'm trying to form this year to make myself a better developer. These habits include keeping a developer's journal, using Git best practices, making sure that we're taking care of our health, and working on digital cleanliness. And by incorporating these habits into our work routine, we'll become better developers and more productive. So the first habit I'm going to be working on this year is keeping a developer journal. But there is something very specific that I'm going to be doing with my developer journal that I think you should be doing too. At the end of my workday, I do two things. First, I write down exactly what I plan on doing first thing in the morning. If there is something important that I need to remember for the next day, I never assume that I will remember it and I write it down here. This way, first thing in the morning before I have my stand-up, I'm able to open my journal and know what previous me thought my priority was for today. The second thing I do is I write down anything positive or anything challenging that I accomplished that day for my brag sheet. I dedicate a part of my dev journal as a brag sheet, so I'm constantly keeping track of impressive things that I am doing. It's often really easy to forget what we do day to day, but we actually overcome a lot of challenges. So keeping this document alive with all your recent accomplishments is a great way to not need to stress about revamping your resume, but also when you're talking to your manager, you could advocate for yourself. Sometimes when we feel imposter syndrome come on, it's always nice to look back and see, oh yeah, I did do that. And the next habit that I'm trying to form is to follow best Git practices. Git is a powerful tool that lets us collaborate on code, track changes, and is incredibly powerful in helping us debug our software if we keep our Git workflow tidy. So this year I'll be following these rules. Commit frequently and push often. All too often I'll end up working on a feature all within the same commit, and it makes it very challenging to go back in time if I followed a wrong path of logic or if I'm trying to debug something. I'll also be writing more clear commit messages. Now it sounds silly, but how many of you have written some of these is a commit? This is not helpful. And yeah, this sounds simple, but typically it's the simple things that get overlooked. The third habit is actually not what we do on the computer, but what we do off of the computer. As developers, it's very easy for us to get focused on our work and not take care of ourselves. It's important to remember that our physical health plays a huge role in our mental health. And that goes hand in hand with our emotional well-being and our productivity. So this year, I'm going to incorporate two rules that I'm going to follow every day. First, there must be a bottle of water at my desk at all times. The second thing I'm going to be doing is setting daily reminders to get up from my computer and walk around. I'm someone who very easily gets fixated on problems, and I have no problem sitting down for 8 hours in one stretch with having no water and no breaks. And by the end of it, I am not nearly as productive as when I started. Sometimes one of the best things for us to do when we're facing a problem is to look away from that problem, get some fresh air, and revisit it later. By making a conscious effort to take care of our bodies, we'll improve our overall well-being and our effectiveness as a developer. Now this next part, I don't mean to call any of you out, okay? So don't feel bad. But let's face it, your desktop, it's nasty. At least mine is, and I'm gonna assume that everyone else is as well. So this year, I'm actually gonna develop my own tools to help keep myself organized, and I'll actually be documenting that process on the channels. And if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. A cluttered file system could slow down our computer, and more importantly, it can make us spend less time developing and more time sifting through folders trying to find documentation, notes, whatever it may be. I'm constantly writing meeting notes, I'm constantly writing documentation. If that doesn't get uploaded to the wiki or properly named and saved, the second it leaves my quick access, those things are gone forever into the ether of my desktop. So here are some non-negotiable rules that I'm going to be following. No file can exist on my desktop. The desktop is for shortcuts only. Every saved file must be put in an adequately named folder, and the file must be adequately named itself. So in this video, we discussed 4 habits that I'm trying to pick up to make myself a better developer, and I hope that you could see the value of these habits too. But the most important habit that I haven't talked about yet is to remember to have fun. Sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in the stresses of coding. And if you liked this video, YouTube for some reason thinks you'll like this one. Did you click it? They think you'll like it. Probably isn't that good anyway. You should click it.